Hi, everybody, and welcome to Them Wise Girls. I'm your girl, Jada.
And I'm Nelly.
And I'm Lala.
Hi, everybody, and we hope you had a great week, and we hope your weekend is going well also. How are you ladies doing today? What's going on? How is your week? How's everything going?
Well, my week, we are still doing remote, so I'm completely over it. But every day is the same day, so every day rolls. But it was a good week. I was a little emotional this week. Like I told you guys, I was watching Family Feud, and I started crying.
No.
What?
So yeah, I started crying. But it was only because my cycle's coming, so my emotions are a little all over the place. But it's
Yeah.
fine. Fine. I'm good. The week is good. Um, yeah, my week was all right. What about you, La?
I'm sorry to hear that you had an emotional week. I was sick. My cold is still very present. I am getting
Aw.
better. On Monday, I did go to the doctor though. And
Very good.
well, I should say I went. I did the televisit and they believed me to have a sinus infection. So I did get the Z pack, which is, the 5 day
Antibiotics.
the
Yeah.
antibiotic, and then I'm back on my Flonase and Claritin, which I was slacking taking regularly. So I am feeling better. So Monday and Tuesday I was really out of it. Wednesday was pretty okay. And then Thursday I actually went to the eye doctor, and I'm not sure if I shared with you guys, but I have problems with my eyes. I don't really know that I never knew that I had problems with my eyes until within the last year or so. And apparently, you know that I'm a preemie. So whoop whoop for all the preemies.
My mom
So
is a preemie. Shout out to the preemies out there.
that's
Yes,
right.
my mom was too as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of preemies tend to have issues later in life, and that's just because unfortunately we did not cook long enough.
Yeah.
So for me, my eyes, how do I say this? The sheath of my eye,
Uh-huh.
the lining, like the sheath itself, is thinner than most. So what happens is that my sheath can easily tear. So if it tears, I have to act immediately and have it repaired because then I could lose my vision. So
Mhm.
I don't know when it tears. How I find out when it tears is when I go for my regular doctor's appointments for my eye. And it's not a standard doctor appointment or a standard ophthalmologist that I visit. Yes, the ophthalmologist is the one that found it, but I have to go to an actual retinal surgeon. They examine my eyes like it ranges depending on what's going on with my eyes, but it can go anywhere from 2 to 4 months that I have follow-up appointments. So yesterday, excuse me, today is Saturday, excuse me, Thursday. Thursday, I actually had a follow-up appointment. You see how my days just run too?
Yep.
It be that way sometimes. It be
Be
that
like
way
that.
sometimes.
They just roll like a ball.
Crazy.
Hmm.
I had my follow-up appointment Thursday, and I actually had to have surgery on my eye, on my left eye. So you can't see it because it's in my eye,
Oh,
but
Oh,
um,
wow.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so they laser the tears, because if the tears of the sheath of the lining of my eye are not repaired, then the retina could detach and lose my vision. So long story short, I was in a little bit in pain or discomfort Thursday and Friday after the procedure, but now I'm fine. I just put my lubricating drops in my eyes and I'm 100. Um, I just though just been feeling like tired, and I'm not sure quite. I'm thinking maybe it's just the sinus infection, but I just feel tired and drained, you know?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
understand. My week was horrible. I had a horrible week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As you guys know, you follow me on social media, so you saw when I put Miss Juicy up there saying I can't take it. That's pretty much how my week went. It just was one of those weeks where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So it just was very stressful. As you guys know, I have anxiety. So that doesn't add too good to it. So It was just a very overwhelming week for me. It did get better, which was good. I was able to speak to a former supervisor that I had, who I still work with. She's just in a higher position now. And it was nice talking to her because I just felt very, very overwhelmed about work, with the semester coming to a close and before they go on their little break before spring starts, which will be pretty much remote as well. So I'll be home for the spring semester too, which is nice. But it just became very frustrating, dealing with students who have issues and have problems. And it just was a lot. And it was very overwhelming for me because you know me to be the type of person. I really believe that if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to do it to 150%. So if I can't do that, I become extremely frustrated. And at the same time, I had other stuff going on and I felt like I was getting pulled in 20 different directions. So I just really was on like 10 and then I went to 20 and then I was like, okay, I need a break from people, from everybody, and I just need to have a moment. But I think too, what added to it is that I believe that I have pandemic fatigue.
What is that?
Well, it's when, because we're in the pandemic, you can't do what you normally usually do, whether it be go out with friends, go out to eat, go out and do things because we are, isolating ourselves and taking certain precautions. You don't live your everyday life the way you used to live it prior to COVID-19. Now it's going out wearing masks, it's being 6 feet away from people, practicing social distancing, being careful when you go out and things of that nature. So for me, I'm extremely careful because, as I told you guys, I believe I had COVID last year before it even came out. And I was really, really sick where I had to go to the hospital and they pushed me through triage because they was like, you have a high fever. So I think I'm even extra more precautious because I have encountered it and I don't take it very lightly. And some people are like, well, you got to live your life. Yeah, I do. But if you felt how I felt, I literally thought I was dying. And that's not even me being extra because I'm extra, but that wasn't even me being extra. I asked to go to the hospital. That's something I don't do. And when I asked my mom to take me, she knew that I really, really wasn't feeling good. So for me, I think I'm even more like precautious because I just don't want to feel that again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I pulled it up very quickly as you were talking, JD. And so it's our body's natural, they describe it as our body's natural response to when we have a prolonged uncertainty or disruption. And certainly this pandemic has caused a prolonged uncertainty. We don't know when everything is lifting, if anything is lifting, if we'll be traveling again. And, a lot of people react differently. Some signs of fatigue, pandemic fatigue, are lack of motivation, changes in eating and sleeping habits, irritability, stress over tasks that would normally be handled well. And I know that is by far, I never knew what was causing it, but clearly pandemic fatigue. And there's also difficulty concentrating associated with pandemic fatigue and feelings of hopelessness. Right. So for our viewers, even for them wise girls, just be conscientious of the signs and be aware because many of us are experiencing pandemic fatigue, as JD had mentioned.
Wow, I didn't know your body goes through so much when it's way down and you're separated and things are not the norm. I never knew that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's pretty much how it goes because you're not doing things the way you normally would do things, going out, being with people, you're isolating, you're working from home. If you're working from home, it's just a whole different routine than prior to COVID. So I know I was trying to look at some ways to help myself as we spoke about here, going to counseling, speaking to a therapist. You guys know I'm very big for that. I believe in doing that, speaking to somebody about how I feel, the licensed person, of course. Also taking care of your body, trying to get yourself in a routine, although you're not going to work, outside, you still can have a routine in your home. I read somewhere where this one lady says she still gets up and gets dressed, like she's going to the office, she's just staying in the house, but she says it's still her routine to get up and put on clothes and sit at the computer to feel like she's really still at work despite not being there physically. So, there are
Very
certain
good to
things
do
that you
that.
could do,
Yeah.
right? Go for a walk. I know my coworkers always encourage me, and we encourage each other to go for walks and go outside, because that makes a difference too, because being in the house all the time isn't healthy. So, they said walking is something that you could do and go, and that's something I'm trying to do more of. As you guys know, I be struggling sometimes, but it's trying. So, try and be positive. And that's why I love them Wise Girls, because we're trying to continue to be positive despite, everything that's currently going on.
Right. And go on now.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to agree with what Jay was saying about having a routine, because when we started the um, remote learning from working from home, I had to figure out a routine of getting up, actually getting dressed, brushing my teeth, washing my face. I actually feel like, okay, I have to do stuff, I have to be here at a certain time, I have class at a certain time. It really got me going. And then some days I was just like, I don't feel like doing it. But, I had to. But then when we went back, I had my old routine. So it felt normal. But then now we're back to remote. So my body's just like, wait, we ate at a certain time, we did this at a certain time. Now we just willy-nilly, and this is not correct. But one day we will get back to normal. Hopefully we will get back to
And that's exactly it. People say, well, it's pandemic fatigue. It's not a real condition. Okay, it's not a medical condition as you would qualify it, but it poses very serious and real threats. I mean, threats to your mental health, threats to your overall health and well-being, that even can cause you to begin to ease or relax on following the restrictions set in place by the government. I mean, you think of it now, it's become our go-to. We grab our phone, our wallet, our keys, and our mask, hands down. And how many, I guess all of us could attest that we've left our mask, locked the door, and then said, oh man, I left
go back.
I told you I got all the way to White Castle one day with no mask on. I was like, something's different. And I said, right. Oh my goodness, I don't have on no mask. So, I had to go all the way back home. I came upstairs and my neighbor was coming out her apartment. And I know she looked at me and she's like, why this girl don't have no mask on? But you forget, because, that this wasn't the norm. But now it's the norm, and it's going to be our norm for some time now. So now I try and carry extra masks, like in my bag, leave it in the car or wherever, I can leave them to have extra on deck. That way, if I do forget my mask that I wear, I have it in the car to put one on so I could go into the stores and things like that.
That's a great idea, to keep some in your pocketbook, extra in your pocketbook, in your car, even in your wallet. I fold a paper one and put it in my wallet, because you never know when the band's gonna pop or you're gonna lose it. I have a habit of putting mine in my coat pocket, and then my daughter goes through my coat pocket, and then I go outside. I'm like, oh, here's my mask. Okay, no mask. Avea Rose has taken it out the coat pocket. So now I have to just keep it in the car and keep it in my wallet or my pocketbook, because I always lose it. So. But,
and sometimes I do too. I stick it in my pocket, and then I'm like, oh, 3 or 4 masks sticking in my pocket. I'm like, oh, here they are. So I'm always covered.
It's important to have them, because I believe, Lauren, you sent me, and I saw it too on a Shade Room, about Ice-T's father-in-law, his wife's wife's father. I couldn't get it right for a moment. His wife's father never wore a mask. He's like, some of these people out here, let's keep it 100.
He was a serious no mask.
Don't wear any mask, any mask. and he's in the hospital, all incubated up and everything because he
Yep.
wasn't wearing a mask. And it's that real. That's why it's so important that we have to wear our mask. And we encourage you guys as our viewers to make sure you
Yes.
wear your mask too, because that is really, really, really important. Like, that's a game changer.
And the poor man for the rest of his life has to be on oxygen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, no, this is not real.
It's
The
real.
seriousness, you know, it's easy because it's easy to become, what's the word? Tired of it and want some sense of normalcy again. But we have to remain vigilant and wear a mask because it can really get you. And it's not something that, thankfully, Jade got over it. I got over it. And my family's gotten over it. And your mom, Nellie, has gotten over it. But think of all the many people that got over it, but still have long-term residual effects from it,
Right.
you know?
And the people
So-
who gotten over it and got it again.
Yeah.
Because
My
the
mother-
symptoms aren't going to be the same. It's not going to be the same play out, which is why I'm the way that I am, because it could be a different play out the second time around.
Yeah, just like my mother. My mother got it like you, Jade, where it was nobody knew what it was, and it was really bad. And then she got it again in March, where she had a mild case, but it wasn't as bad. But me, my dad, my mom, all wore masks in the house. We all slept in different rooms, so the mask really does work. It really, really, really does work. I wear a mask at work. The kids wear masks at school. It's something you need to have in. It's like you said, Jade, Lauren. Phone, keys, wallet, mask, and hand sanitizer. It becomes the norm. So
Right.
even if you don't wear it, you feel weird. I was like, what?
You do, because I'm like, oh, I'm breathing there as everybody else. Let me go get that mask.
And I don't know if you ladies have noticed it, but I've been getting bumps and breakouts all around my chin line from wearing the mask. So I have to be extra cautious and conscientious of always washing my mask, because I get lazy and I always wear lipstick. You know, I'm not a makeupy person, but I always wear my lipstick. And so a lot of times I forget to wash my mask. So, you know, I go to work every other day, physically go to work. I work every day, but I physically go in the office every other day.
Right.
And a lot of times I forget to wash my mask. So I'll just wear the same mask. And that's a big no-no.
Right.
A, you're breathing in the same germs, and B, it's creating my acne. So I have to be more conscientious of washing it.
Me too.
I'm like, you know how you feel like you're in a rut? And I guess it is the pandemic fatigue, but I just been feeling like nothing is right. I have no motivation to do anything. I'll concentrate, and then I'm like, oh, I can't concentrate. So clearly we're suffering with pandemic fatigue, and look at how many people probably are as well. And they don't even know.
I have no idea.
Right. Their whole pattern has changed. Staying up. I'm up till sometimes 2, 3 in the morning, not doing anything
Girl, let me tell
special.
you.
But I be up, and I be up here, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and then trying to get up in the morning. I just can't get up. I just feel horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to get myself on some sort of schedule.
Yep. This past week, my sleep schedule is out the window. When I went back to work, I was like, okay, I get to bed by 10, take a shower, relax, fall asleep. Now, I think the past Monday through Friday, I was going to bed like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, wide awake, and then have to go to work at 8. And I'm like, I can't.
When are you going back, Nellie? Like, did they say anything yet about if you're going back? Because I think my coworker told me her sons aren't going back yet because they're in high school. But I don't know about the other levels.
I know general goes December 7th, and the P75, which I am in, we go back Thursday.
Oh, so you go back Thursday?
I think it's really not right, but
no, it's not. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that.
Because we go back at the end of the week, right? So we go Thursday, Friday, weekend. Next week we have a whole week. Then a week after that is Christmas. Why?
So you're basically sending everyone to school to get sick so that when they're all together with their family, they can then get their whole family sick.
Basically, that's horrible. They shouldn't send them back.
And then I hear the mayor, I think it's the mayor, saying that, oh, there's not a lot of kids. My school's a big school. We have 3 floors. And each floor has at least maybe 10 classrooms around the whole perimeter of the hallway. Each class either has 3 kids, 4 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid. Now, normally we usually have about over 100 kids every single day. Full classes. We have full classes of 12, 6, and 8. My class, 3. I think 1 week we had 3. 1 week we have 4. Most classes, I think the most class has 5. So and most of our co-workers are all remote. So each class is like 1 student or 2. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Even though I just really don't like being remote. I love being in a classroom. I love being able to be one-on-one with the student and the teacher. But this remote is just not. It's just not working. Kids are not learning. You're on the computer, and you got Jim, and he's doing gym exercises. The teacher is doing, what was she doing? She was doing something about the holidays. My whole class has maybe 6 kids. We have about 3 kids that pop in. Oh, hey, how you doing? No, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah,
See
that's
these
a shame.
Oh, you don't. So this school year
Everybody's going through some rough.
it's a complete. Hopefully next year it'll be a little bit better. We shall.
I hope so too, because everybody feels it. I know my students feel it. I see it with the ones who do amazing, how they're struggling really, really bad. The transition, it's a lot for people. Professors are used to being in class, especially professors who are, I always say, seasoned a little bit more. They're used to being in class and not on computers, and some of them aren't tech savvy, so they don't know. So it's just been a lot these past 9 months at
9
this
months,
point.
yeah.
It's been a lot.
It's gotten me lazy because the remote, I do it on my phone. I pop in, I can put my camera off. I'm not helping anybody. I'm not doing nothing. In the classroom, I'm with the students. On this, I can pop in. Oh, if I'm bored, okay, I can do something else. It's just not worth it. Not worth it.
That's why it's important to create a sense of normalcy, even when you're at home. Like Jade had mentioned, a coworker was saying how she still gets up, gets showered, gets dressed. Because if you get in that rut, there's a lot of memes, I'm sure you ladies have seen them, where people have the blankets on and they go to their computer desk and they cover up with a blanket and a sleep cap, and they're typing away as though literally they brought the bed with them to the computer. And it's nice once in a while to do that, but in truth, it begins to affect you.
Yeah.
It's really something, and a lot of people are not aware of it,
They're not. And it's sad because, you get into this rut and you wonder why you're in this rut. You wonder why, you're irritable or you're mad or you're angry when people say things to you, so it takes some time to become aware, because I didn't think I was in a rut. But then I was like, maybe I am. And when I happened to, look it up, I was like, oh my goodness, I do have pandemic fatigue. I'm over it. And I was like, but it's for my safety. And, a friend of mine said, you just making this extra. But I was like, if you have gotten it, you're going to be a little bit more extra, because I never want to feel that way again. That's no common cold. Okay. You have some symptoms. That's no common cold. That's a real deal type thing.
It has. So, and when you see it face to face, like Jade, you've had it, and my mom had it. When you see it, you see a person who's always lively, who's never in the bed, who wants to go, 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 and they are just slowed completely down. They don't want to do this. Even though she was sick, she would try to do a little bit, and I was like, mm-mm. I became Nurse Nelly, and I was like, mm-mm, you're not doing that. Okay, I feed you. You can baby yourself, but I could slow it down, lay down. She don't like to do that. It was just, but you, yeah, it was an eye opener. It really was. So wear your mask.
For sure.
So
And washy them hands.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that too.
right.
Wash your hands. But there was
So-
it 30 seconds?
Mhm.
Honey, I do more now. I be like, we gonna get this off every finger, every nail crevice, everywhere.
So I know that we brought up some ways to manage pandemic fatigue. So we had said that, you set a routine where you get washed up, you get dressed as though you're going to work so that, you come out of that slump. I know that you had also mentioned about going on walks, getting outdoors. Some other things that we could do are to continue to maintain a close contact with our friends and loved ones. And I know the nice thing is with our family, we've really done well with that. I mean,
Zoom is it?
yes, I think we're closer now than we've ever been.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
always
yeah.
have a terrible saying where the only time that we really get together is at
Funerals.
or
Mhm.
weddings.
Or
which
weddings.
really
We don't
And
have
that
too
was
many
us.
weddings, but we be,
No.
unfortunately,
That
you
was,
you
yeah,
have the funerals. But
that was
Zoom
us.
has made us so much closer. Zoom,
Yeah.
texting
Yeah.
each other, having a family,
Mhm.
chat, that has made us much more closer, and that's important.
Hmm. I saw someone on my Instagram line, and she said to have a support system was everything, even if it's just, hey, how you doing today? Do you need anything? Just a quick checkup. You check on your strong friends, okay? But having a strong family system and having a strong friend system, it really helps. 'Cause you don't know what people are going through. So
Right.
Never. And one that I never really thought of was keeping a mealtime routine. And I need to work on this
Me
because
too.
I don't eat
me
breakfast
too.
sometimes
Me
till
too.
11 o'clock. And then my daughter about 9:30, she'll say, Mommy, I need breakfast. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm such a bad mom because I I get up. Sometimes I'll just quick wash up and sit at my desk. Sometimes I'll literally roll out of my bed in my jammies and start working.
Me
It's
too.
just the pandemic fatigue affecting me.
At
Like,
least she acknowledged she need breakfast.
Okay.
I don't need to
I
be
know, but
acknowledging.
Me either. I
sometimes
remember,
I'm like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. I'm ravaging.
yeah, I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, I wasn't eating until like 2, 12, 5. It was just like, oh, I'm not hungry. And I either have one meal or no meal. So, yeah.
So it's
Um,
very important to keep a mealtime routine, ladies. And then this one is big, and thankfully we don't have issues with it. However, I'm sure many during the pandemic fatigue, unfortunately, are dealing with it. So the tip to manage pandemic fatigue next is to avoid overusing alcohol and other substances to cope. We know that a lot of times people, some people cope with food, some people cope with alcohol, some people cope
Ours
with
is the food.
substances.
food. Yes,
Yeah, ours
food.
is the food. So that's definitely something that we want to make sure that we're conscientious of. And then the other one is, I never thought about this, but I'm sure that many of you probably realize how watching the news makes you feel. We
Oh,
need to limit our exposure to the news coverage and social media because I'm sure, like you ladies, dealing with anxiety and depression, a lot of times I'll watch something or read about something on the news and my anxiety just takes over and I keep
Yep.
thinking about it, and I'm very worked up about it. So making sure that we're limiting that exposure and putting it in its right place.
yeah. I remember in the beginning, like I said, when everything was just flooding in and the news would be on all day. And I was like, Mom, can you change the channel, please? Because I can't watch this. I can't listen to this. day long. So that's a good one. And social media too, especially IG. I be scrolling, it's like Corona this,
Right.
Corona
Yeah.
that.
Facebook too always has
Oh
a
yeah.
story. I was like your mother. I was watching the news all day, and I saw it was really affecting me. So now
And
I
I would
only
get
watch it once
angry.
a day. I only
Yeah,
watch it at 11.
I would get angry if I heard it on the here we go again.
Yep,
I
I
would
was
really
like,
get angry and I would go upstairs and turn on something else because I'm tired of
yeah,
hearing
you
this
have
story.
to. You have to because
Yeah.
it was bad. It was affecting me really bad. And I
Mhm.
was like, you
Mhm.
know what? Only 11 o'clock news, and that is it. I'm not watching any
And
other news at any other
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So
That's a good thing to do, JD.
yeah, turn it off.
And
'Cause
watch
it can
something else.
really
I've
affect
been
you.
watching things that make me laugh and,
Mm-hmm,
smile. I find
mm-hmm,
doing that helps me be able to cope. So, I'll watch Netflix. I'll watch something that will make me laugh and giggle, and I'll be
mm-hmm.
in a different mind space, which is good. And I think that is so important. So we know
Yes, yes,
Netflix
yes.
got our Moesha and Half
Yeah.
and Half and 101 and all our favorite shows.
Do
So
you know
now watch some episodes of that.
I just started going back on Netflix for some reason. I got bored. So, I've been home for the week and I was like, what's on Netflix? I absolutely love Netflix now. I
Yeah.
gotta start binge watching. So one-on-one, like you said, Moesha, sister. I gotta have some time because it's going back to work now. I'm gonna have to do it on the weekend. But
Yeah, I
I
go
have
back
to.
and forth between Netflix and Hulu. So I'm between both, you
Do
know.
you know I'm gonna watch if you ever watched The Good Doctor? Oh my goodness.
I started watching that because it came on after Dancing with the Stars, and I was
Oh
watching it.
my goodness. I don't know if it's because he was autistic and I just feel like but it was I only saw one episode and then that was it. And now they're on like season 2, 3, and I was like, oh, I'm missing it. I need to go back to that. And I started watching on Hulu This Is Us. Oh,
This Is Us is amazing. I
oh,
binge watched that like in the beginning when it first
that
came on.
show.
Now I
I
watch it
absolutely
every
love it.
time. It comes back on in January.
Yeah, I heard.
That's
And
only
then
on Hulu.
No,
yes,
it comes on Channel 4 on Tuesdays at
it
9
does.
o'clock. But
But
you
if
can
you want
watch
to
it again on
rewatch it,
Hulu. Mm-hmm.
on Hulu, it's so good. I used to watch it. I got my mom watching it. She'd be crying. I'd be like, Mom, I
Yeah,
can't
it's
cry.
good. I love it. And
It's
also,
so
what just
good.
came out yesterday with Selena, I actually watched all of it. We'll talk
I
about that for
saw
another day.
something.
We'll
I
talk
saw
about that for another
something.
day.
I
Okay.
saw something on Netflix for Selena. It's like a part one,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yep, I watched all 9
Yes.
episodes, but we will talk about that on another day
yes,
because I have some
So
thoughts about it.
Oh,
let
I
me
gotta
ask you,
watch it.
ladies, this. During the start of the pandemic, did either of you learn a new skill? Say that you were going to learn a new skill, whether it be a language, a skill, a hobby, anything.
I said I was going to cook more, and that ain't happened. Uber's my
I said I was
BFF.
going to
They
learn
know
a
me,
language.
honey.
I said I was going to learn a language, and I noticed that another way to manage stress of the pandemic fatigue is to manage your expectations, both your personal and professional expectations. A lot of people said, oh, well, it's pandemic. I'm going to take advantage of the time in my house, and I'm going to learn to cook. I'm going to learn that language. I'm going to take the time to learn that hobby. I'm going to knit, crochet, do makeup, and all of that jazz. It's okay to not have learned it. It's
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I learned? I learned that I like candles. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
I
that's
love me
something.
like
a good
candles?
candle. My mom was burning a some type of vanilla thing, and I said, "What is that?" And she was like, "Oh, it's a candle warmer." I went on Amazon. I was like, "Candle warmer." I want it. And then we went to Walmart, and she showed me the flavor that she got. Girl, you can see I have a collection of
Really?
candles,
Oh,
of candle wax. I
well, you know
absolutely
what? We definitely need to show our audience. We need to share the
Which
good.
ones you like? Because Bath and Body
Yeah.
Works just had a big sale where people
yeah
go
for the
crazy for their
candles.
candles.
Yeah, I have no space for the big candles, but if you give me a candle wax, girl.
Yeah, they said people that sold out quickly.
Yeah,
their
they sell
candles.
out really quick because they
Wow.
they
Yeah.
they last really long, and they're big candles, so they have the 3 wicks in them,
Right.
and they burn all day long. We could talk about
Nice.
candles all day long, and I was like, yeah.
Well, I will definitely have to take you up on that education point because I don't know much about candles. A lot of times I'm like, ooh, that stink. Ooh, that stink. That give me a headache. So I definitely will have to save that for another episode too.
Yes, yes.
But I have to tell you guys, I'm getting tired and I know that it's the pandemic fatigue. So I am going to go to sleep a little early tonight, in line with one of the last points of managing the pandemic stress or pandemic fatigue stress. They had stated that you should set a sleep routine. So
Really?
I'm going to bake off tonight and try and catch a little rest. What are you ladies' plans?
I need to get me some rest too. And I'm
I do
trying to
too.
get some organization in my life because I realize I have way too many clothes. I know for a girl to say that you could never have enough clothes, but I think I supersede everything and everyone. Because and I just ordered some more clothes, which is
Oh,
great.
see,
It's
So I
the
gotta get
wise
my
girl
life.
sickness.
It
It's our
is.
sickness.
I gotta get it together.
is.
I
It
gotta get it together.
is.
But
It's
I'm gonna
something
try and get my life together.
that goes all through the family because I
It's a
have
sickness.
too much.
Oh
clothes.
boy, is it?
My husband, he tells me you have too many clothes, so he occasionally throws out my clothes, right? And then I noticed that started getting upset with him, yelling with him, and I realized that he stopped throwing them out, but he would put them in the basement. He's been putting my clothes in the basement because he's like, they're taking up space up here. It's getting crowded with your clothes. So yeah, they've been disappearing to the basement. What is it? A bottomable pit basement.
Yeah.
And you
So
got
I
a
gotta
big
get it
old
together.
basement, so it's probably up to here.
Mhm. You know we like to dress and we got clothes
Okay.
for days. So
For days.
I'm gonna
Even
get my
when-
life together.
Even when we were not going anywhere and there was Zoom parties, sis was still shopping. Oh, I need a new top. I need a new. Ain't nobody look. I know nobody looking at me, but I still need something new.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But I always enjoy talking with you ladies.
Yes,
It's
it's always a good time. Always a good time. And so we hope you guys enjoyed our show. Remember, if you have a business that you want us to shout out, just please send us an email at themwisegirls@gmail.com and we'll be sure to shout your business out. Please make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And as you know, we're very active on both. So please comment, like, share out with all your friends,
Share.
and please continue to be safe during this pandemic. We'll be back next week with an all new episode of Them Wise Girls.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Be safe.